What is up? If you're watching this video, it probably means somebody stole your catalytic converter off of your Honda Element. That happened to me, and this was my solution. I bought this catalytic converter for about $100 shipped. That's the part that they left me with. From a company called Max Peating Rods. And I have had it on the car for over 6 months now, and I have to say I'm pretty darn happy with it, especially considering how much it cost. That is the old piece that somebody hacked off, and that was what I was left with. I just taken that off. It's only 2 bolts, pretty easy. And there's the old flange. They actually cut it before it, so there was no welding required to put this back on. Only 4 bolts, 6 if you include the O2 sensors. Super straightforward. Right up there is where the 2 bolts bolt from the cat to the downpipe. This was the tool that I chose to use. This is an old snap-on ratchet I have. 12 millimeter, long extension. I used a little PVC breaker bar, little plastic job to get on there and actually get some leverage and able to pop those bolts off. So it worked pretty well. So it came right off, and now it's time to hang up the new one. So just wanted to show how I snake this up through the subframe. See, you just snake it up through like that. You can get that one bolt pretty easily, and then up over here as well. You need a pretty long extension to do that though. So this is a little donut gasket that goes in there. And then here are the new spring bolts. Try to get those boys in. So I figured this out after a little bit of frustration. The one that you see on the top, I had to go to Advance and get. And the ones on the bottom are ones that came with the kit. The ones on the bottom I ended up using to hold the catalytic converter to the back part of the muffler. That black one right there that you see, that I got at Advance. It's about $10 for 2 of them. Most places have them in stock. All right, I'm going to speed this part up so you don't have to listen to me grunting and groaning and cussing. The 2 O2 sensors are held on to the lower body of the car by a little metal clip. It pops right off. And then both of them just unclip. You got to do that first. Then you want to put the top ones in first so you can actually hang it up there. You don't want to tighten them down all the way, though. You just kind of want to snug them up so that they're hanging up there. That will give you a little bit of play on the back end to line the catalytic converter up with the rest of the exhaust before you actually torque them down. And it went pretty well, you know, aside from some minor frustrations and cussing and whatnot. So. Oh. Two little bolts are such a pain in the ass. These are fine. So those are going anywhere. So I'll tell you what, a swivel joint would have made this a whole lot easier. They sell them at Harbor Freight for under $10, and looking back, I really should have gotten one, because it would have made life so much easier bolting on these 2 bolts, but still got it done. No worries. So as far as the O2 sensors I used Denso, which is Honda OEM. Advanced Auto had both of them in stock. And if you use code GEARS, GEARS 25, you'll get 25% off. The 2 of them total came to just over $100, if I remember correctly. Also, if you look here, I used a specialty O2 sensor socket that you can get at pretty much any auto parts store or Harbor Freight. It really makes it easy because it's got a little slot for the wires, and yeah, just thread them both in. The plugs are different, so it's pretty hard to mess up. Make sure you put the right O2 sensor in the right hole. And yeah, pretty straightforward. So once you get everything hung up on the back end and you get your O2 sensors plugged in, go back to the manifold side and snug those bolts up. You want to leave them loose when you're first putting it on, so that you can have a little play on the back end when you're hooking everything up. And once you have everything bolted up nice and tight, you want to go back and make sure that the wiring harnesses are correctly in the clips. Make sure that they are not going to fall down, and they are not going to hit the hot exhaust, because that would be bad. Definitely would melt the wiring harness. So it's about 6 months later, and I'm outside of my house. Let's see. Straight. Looks pretty darn good under there. Pretty happy with it, to be totally honest. Start it up. A lot of people complain about a weird kind of drone sound coming from these cheap aftermarket cats, but this one, I got nothing, man. It's so quiet. It's so quiet. No check engine light right now. It did throw one, but I was able to clear it, and that was a couple months ago, and it hasn't come back. But so it sounds like super quiet, not drony, super happy.